Hey guys, welcome to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're going to be checking out the new Decapitated album called Anticult. Decapitated is a Polish death metal band formed in '96.
Back in the day.
Way back.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born then.
He wasn't born yet.
And we're going to go check them out. Do you have anything to add, Vile?
Just that the album was released on Nuclear Blast, which is a pretty wicked record label, I gotta say. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this album, man. I thought Blood Mantra, which was the last release, that was like 2 years ago, I think, 3 years ago, 2014 actually. That was a great album. I really like that album. Decapitated is pretty badass band, I gotta say. One of the better death metal bands out there, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to listening to this album. So we're going to go, as usual, listen to it for the very first time in its entirety, front to end. And we'll be back with our first impressions right after that. So let's go do it. Let's go listen to some metal.
Alright guys, welcome back. We just finished listening to Anticult by Decapitated. This album was a trip. Wow. This was an album, man. I'm gonna start off with my notes here. It's hard to start with the worst song.
You're almost at a loss for words there for a second.
It's hard. This was a really interesting and creative album. It's hard to start with a song.
Give it to the people.
But I guess I'll start with my quote unquote worst, because I didn't really feel like any of these songs were really bad.
Yeah, but there's got to be a bottom of the pack though.
Yeah, I would say perhaps Earth Scar, which was the single for this album.
Okay.
I like the verses. I felt it was interesting that they weren't as condensed rhythmically as the others. It was a little bit more spaced out. But it, like, when you listen to it, you could tell it's the single. You could tell it was made to be a single.
The singles are always a little more on the mellow side.
Yeah.
A little softer, a little more melodic than typically the rest of them. That goes for every band, basically.
Yeah, so
Trying
this
to make
one,
that radio hit.
you know, it's hard to, because it wasn't bad. It was a really cool song. But I just loved overall about this album though, how just I already said it, creative this was. Wow. There was so many times where we thought a song would end and it wouldn't. It would bring out something else. It would do some like calm thing for only a few seconds and then start with a different groove.
Actually trolled us a couple
few times that we're like, okay, it's like I said something like, okay, well, nice ending to the song, and then it starts like a blast beat again,
Yeah.
like what the fuck?
It was nice though. I liked it.
But it was really cool. I haven't really seen, music be that unpredictable to me before.
Yeah.
I'd listen and be like,
Yeah,
I don't know what to expect.
Most albums are, once you get the first one or two songs in, you kind of know what to expect from the rest of it. This had surprises.
There were surprises.
Good surprises.
My highest rated track
What's that?
was probably Kill the Cult.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
That was
god.
what, number 3? Yeah,
Because
number 3.
this track, the track before Death Valuation, it ended, but then you heard something start up and we're like, oh, is it not over yet? Because we didn't know, because how unpredictable it was. It goes right into this song, which just hammers you right in the face.
That transition was fucking cool.
It was one of the best transitions I've heard. Like, wow, just smashes you like that. So that just kind of just blew me back already, and just the groove from this song was just insane. It just like heavy, man.
Heavy.
That was
Cinder block drop on.
Cinder block right on your head. Near the end though, they did like a stop. So once again, it made you think it was over, and then the last chorus started. So that kind of stuff would happen throughout the album, and it's just like, what?
It's cool though, man.
It's trippy.
It didn't sound like it was bad writing or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. It was
very cool.
It was really interestingly crafted.
Yeah.
But one thing to mention though, throughout the album, there was a lot of like ambient guitar sounds in the background.
Yeah.
And you'd hear this on the
Yeah.
first track, you'd hear this on a few tracks, and it would also be included in some of the guitar solos, which I found really interesting how that was incorporated in there. It was very inclusive with all the different sounds they wanted to present. Like, wow, this was a very versatile album from what I heard. So what do you think? What were your...
You were talking about the guitar solos. I remember writing a note on one of the guitar solos. I'm trying to find out which song it was in. Angren, 5th track. There was this really odd rhythm guitar riff playing while the solo was playing. The solo was this like kind of mellow, serene type of
ambient,
trippy type of solo. And I can't remember exactly what the rhythm guitar was doing, but it was just they seemed like they shouldn't go together, but they went together.
Yeah.
And that to me was fucking cool. Let me just tell you, this album slays. Like this album slays.
Yes, this album's fucking sick. Holy shit, man.
This album was just beginning to end awesome. Epic, hype, crazy. It was just metal, pure metal.
It was.
It basically gives you what you'd expect from a Decapitated album.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, this is how they roll. This is what they do. They go fast, they go hard, they're in your face, they're aggressive. They don't stop, okay? Which kind of, I got trolled at one point.
They make you think they're going to stop, but they actually don't.
It was like 4th track in, one of my notes said, these guys don't breathe. Like, it's just been nonstop, crazy, chaotic, in your face, aggression the whole time. And literally, like, seconds after I wrote that, the song goes, boom, like, stops for like a few seconds. Then, bam, it picks back up again. I talk about solos all the time. Every song had a solo.
But
except for maybe the last song.
The last one was really interesting, actually.
The last song had, like, was it a solo or was it just kind of a weird riff going on?
The last song, Amen, was a really interestingly made song because it was very loosely based, and it fits as the last track, of course, to lead you out. But it was like it was practically instrumental, but then
there was these weird odd screams.
Screams
that he was saying something. I couldn't really make it out. But
it was weird because the vocals came in for like a little bit and then left, and then it was still just. So it's like, is this instrumental? Was that just an embellishment with the voice, which is really like creative? I haven't seen too much of that.
And there was
at
an
all.
awesome drum outro.
That was really cool.
You know what? It wasn't super technical or fast, but it was just really hard hitting.
It was a straightforward groove.
Yeah.
But what I liked is that all the other tracks faded out, and it was just solo drums, and then it just ended.
Yeah.
Which is another thing I haven't really seen at all. That was what?
Yeah. There was also a song that started with a really wicked drum intro.
Oh man,
that was
Angren.
That was really cool. Let me briefly talk about my worst and best tracks because I haven't actually done that yet. So my worst track was actually the first track. It was my lowest rated track. I wrote that it was still a cool song. I really liked the riff. It had a cool like raunchy riff, which, I mean, that's also part of their style. They're very raunchy and heavy and deep. Cool intro, but there was just nothing that really stood out to me in that song that really grabbed me. So the first song left kind of an average impression, but then it just boom picked up. They cranked it up to 11 after that. Man. And then I got all these high rated songs. My highest rated songs, I have a tie between actually the last song, Amen, which is one of the more toned down songs.
It's just the way it functioned in the album was just so well done. It's great outro track.
It was slow paced but heavy, so it gives you kind of that like doom metal vibe, where it's kind of slow but still really just boom, heavy.
So you got the energy,
right? You got the energy there. So I really liked that. It was nice ambient. Really liked it. Good track. The other track was actually the single, which you said was one of your lowest tracks. That surprised me. That was one of my highest rated tracks. That track reminds me of Blood Mantra, which is off of Blood Mantra, my favorite track off of the last album. So it's kind of like their title track off the last album is, I don't know, matches up with their single off this album. It's another one of the tame songs on the album. If you want to call it tame, it's probably not a great word to use. But in comparison to the rest of the tracks,
it's tamer.
It's tamer, right? So, but that kind of makes sense since it's the single. We talked about that. The grooves are cool. The solo in this song's sick, but not the best solo on the album. There was other ones that I liked better, and again, I can't really remember exactly where
I feel like all of the solos were just really well done, and they were done differently, had different stylistic.
The second song, Death Valuation. I just wrote Dutty ass solo. Dutty ass solo. Like it was long, it was fast, it was epic. It had everything I like in a solo. I'm definitely gonna be going back to that one. But yeah, man, I don't know what else to say about this, dude. Like even like the worst thing I could say about this album is that it was maybe a little too short. I wanted a little more.
It was like about half an hour.
37 minutes was
37.
the running time. 8 tracks. Each track varies from, I think the lowest was like 3.5 minutes up to like 6, a little over 6
the
minutes.
last track is
Good
about
length.
almost 3 minutes, but the longest are about 6.
Yeah, a little
So
over
and
6.
with how they made like the structures of the songs being very unpredictable, it feels a lot longer than it really is.
Yeah.
Because some of the songs feel like they just keep going.
Yeah, I think they could have added another maybe 2 or 3 tracks to the album, just to lengthen it a bit. But it's not like it's a super short album. It's not like it's like 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't even know any albums that are 20 minutes. 37 minutes is actually pretty short, to be honest. But I don't know, man. It doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, no, it's still enjoyable for what you
I think,
get.
yeah.
Despite
And
how short it is.
it could be something very simple, like they wrote 8 songs. They could have wrote 15 songs, but only 8 songs were worthy of the album. You never know, right? A lot of bands do stuff like that. Whereas, for example, Stone Sour, which we reviewed Hydrograd recently, they had 15 songs on the album, but half of them were like flops.
Yeah.
Right. So you get 8 songs, but you get 8 solid songs. So
Yeah.
we're both,
We're both in
looking
awe
forward to
right
listen, and we're looking forward to listening to this album more.
Absolutely.
To give a review, and
This is-
I can't picture our review being anything but pretty positive next week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for our first impressions. Unless you got anything else you want to add.
No, man, that was a trip. So remember, guys, to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Stay tuned for next week, our final review on Anticult by Decapitated. I'm TV Fish,
I'm Vile Self.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.